we talk about how incredible Matthews has been this year, but Mitch Marner has been
Yeah.
just as great. He's got 30 points in 19 games. He's
Unreal.
tied with Leon Draisaitl for second in the league in scoring behind Connor McDavid, who's basically just an alien. But is Marner's season getting overshadowed here by Auston Matthews, who has 500 goals in 18 games, it seems?
Yeah, I think it is. I really think it is because of Matthews' goal production, him getting all the attention that way. You're kind of forgetting, and you have to go back at the numbers sometimes to see what Marner is doing. But then you're not surprised because just watching the games, you see how many times he's feeding Matthews. But even goal wise, like Marner's at about a half goal a game pace. Like in a full season, he'd be on a pace of between 35 and 40 goals. That's crazy for a guy who scoring goals is not at the top of his like weapons of arsenal. No, the guy's a pass first guy. He's a playmaking guy. I actually think sometimes he passes too much. He's got those moments where he gets an opening and you want to say, Mitch, shoot the fucking puck, and then he'll hesitate and dish it off. It's like, no, Mitchie, like you could have scored. But I think you're right. I think he is getting overshadowed. And like, who knows? Maybe we'll get a situation here where we have two Leafs players at the end of the season, both racing for the Art Ross Trophy and maybe the Hart Trophy. There, I said it. I mean, at the end of the day, at Marner's pace, if he scores between 35 and 40, well, if he gets a pace between 35 and 40 goals, half a goal a game pace, which would be 28 goals. If he's say around 25 goals and he's a point and a half a game overall, I mean, he's on the list. He's got to be considered. So again, it feels very, very weird to have two of these players on the Toronto Maple Leafs. But again, we're lucky, but he's doing very, very well. And to be honest, Marner's been through a lot. Now, some of that is the fault of himself. Some people, I mean, during all that contract talk, some people were blaming his agent, blaming his dad. Shots were taken. You can blame the media. You can blame the fans. But this kid came in and I don't know if it'd be tough to kind of circle what we expected from Marner based on his season last year because there was all the contract stuff and he didn't have the greatest season last year. And I think what we lost from Marner was even beyond numbers. When we watched that kid, his first two seasons, or his first three seasons, actually, we saw a kid who was just having a blast. And you were just watching Marner, like kind of like live the dream. Here's this kid from the GTA playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs, lighting it up. But I feel as if that was kind of lost. And even if he was putting up numbers, it didn't quite feel the same. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of things people can circle, whether it was the Babcock thing or who knows what else was going on within the organization. But Marner signs that deal. Last year did not go well for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was a fucking roller coaster. They come into this season with Keefe as the coach, his first full training camp, adding some bodies, and it looks like he's having fun again. And it may sound cheesy and very simplistic to have that take as to why he's putting up the numbers he is. Obviously, Matthews' play comes into it as well, but he's doing awesome, man. And I'm happy for the kid in the way that it's very typical of Leafs Nation and Leafs media to be split on a player, even when they're a star player, because of things like that contract negotiation or the amount of money he ended up with or playoff results. So I kind of felt like things could have went either way with Mitch. Like, is this going to be that kid from the GTA that becomes a hero and has a great career with the Toronto Maple Leafs? Or is this a kid who signed a big contract and it was divided? He was never really loved, and eventually he was going to be shipped out of town because we were just going to shit on him all day long. So the way it looks right now is that it's all roses because he's putting up numbers. And like I said, most importantly, it looks like he's having a good time.
Yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Mitch Marner this year. And you brought up this point that he's actually shooting the puck more and he looks more confident shooting the puck because there's been so many times over his first 4 seasons in the league where you're like, dude, you have an opening there. Like, I know you're one of the best playmakers in the game, but for the love of God, shoot the puck when you have an opportunity. And this year, you're seeing him be more aggressive offensively. And I think the big thing to me that has unlocked all of this that we're seeing from Matthews and Marner is the simple fact that they are now consistently playing with each other.
Oh.
Something that Mike Babcock, for whatever reason, it took him essentially 4 years to figure out, oh, maybe I should actually play my two best players on the same line. And listen, I get it. You know, the whole thought about Matthews can drive his own line and Marner can drive his own line, and let's spread the wealth a little bit. Let's have elite players on different lines. But honestly, sometimes to unlock this sort of magic that you're seeing, just stop overthinking it and just play them together.
Yeah.
And I think you're finally seeing the ceiling of these two guys, because Mitch Marner, you go back to his 94-point season a couple of years ago, and it was really impressive. And, you know, you look at some of the seasons that Matthews had, and he probably would have scored 50 goals last year if the season didn't come to an end because of COVID. But you always just thought that there was this next level that you were just waiting for from these guys. And I still think we're waiting for that from guys like William Nylander specifically. But I always thought that there was this next level that Marner and Matthews could hit. And I am so glad that we're finally seeing this happen, and something that Leaf fans were just waiting to see, these two playing together consistently on a night in, night out basis. Because we know that they're good friends outside, you know, off the rink. They have amazing chemistry on the ice together. They came up in the NHL together. Like, this is just a match made in heaven. And I'm so glad that we're finally seeing this play out now, with these guys consistently playing over 20 minutes a night and playing on the same line.